For the Colossus Abyss build, we'll be using the Blue Beetle for a weapon, mainly for the unique ability. If you pop it in the beginning, when you use the fusing skill, you get Arcane Energy, which gives you more critical rate for 10 seconds. So as soon as we pop our ability, we'll get a little bit more crit. That's the main reason why we use it. On the mods though, I do put on Defense Master. You could kill the small little ads if you feel a little bit weak. And it can make you a little bit tankier for the boss fight. For Descendant, we'll be using Wave Eruption for the trigger mod. Electric Charge will be double jumping throughout the whole fight. Mid-air, it's up to you guys for your grapple. And we'll be focusing on critical and electric damage. So we'll have our critical mods here. Front lines, emergency, skill, insight, and con. Then we'll add HP just so we're about a little bit tankier, but for this mod in particular, I'll use a red mod. But I know not everybody has good red mods, ancestor mods. So, depending if you just have a good red mod, I would just swap out HP because you don't need to double stack it. It's just there for now for the showcase of the build. Final wish for our last ability for the cost so that we could use it for the whole entire boss fight. More skill power, more cost, and critical hit resistance so that we're able to critical hit him more, plus more skill power for electric. That's the build. For the dog, I use the one that regenerates HP mid-fight. Sometimes I've noticed it helping me, sometimes I don't need it, but quality of life. For reinforcement, skill cost with the focus boost. Recovery, I do HP. And survival, I also do the HP. So if I start taking a lot of damage, I have the possibility of getting life back. For reactor, electric and fusion. We use fusion because her last ability is that type. Critical hit damage and attack against Colossus. You could use a 2-piece ascending, enlighten, or hunter. Out of those three, you guys can mix them how you like. It gives you skill cost, skill power, and a hunter gives you cooldown. It's up to you guys on how you'd like to match those ones up. Our tuning, after I show the substats, stats, HP, MP, MP, defense MP, and a double shield. Our arc tuning will go for skill power, some cost, more skill power, attack against Colossus, plus the skill power go up for critical rate and critical damage, then to the top for electric cohesion. And that's pretty much the Colossus build. For the Forbidden, Void Vessel, and Purge build, I use the Blue Beetle for the weapon of choice. I put on sprint speed for the core just to be a little bit quicker. And for our mod, Defense Master is the only one that really matters. You might use this weapon a little bit throughout the fight if you want to, or just use your abilities, but here are the mods, the cores, and these substats. And for our Descendant mods, Wave Eruption for the trigger mod. For the last ability, Electric Charge will be jumping around mid-air. It's up to you guys. This will be a critical build as well as extra cooldown, some range, more skill power, critical HP, cooldown, cost, more focus on fusion for our last ability, critical hit and damage, and more skill range. With this last mod, the gameplay, I have HP on, but outside of the gameplay and when I play, I normally use one of these mods, the new Ancestor mods, but I know that not everybody has the best luck with these mods. For your dog, I use the one that gives you MP, just to get extra MP, or I will use the dog that gives you HP. Reinforcement, skill cost, for focus boost and hunt. Recovery, I like the HP one. And for survival, I enjoy pain suppression. For the 50, when you drop 50% lower, you get 58.3 HP, max HP. It just allows you to be a little bit tankier. And for Forbidden, you do take a lot more damage. For our reactor, we want Electric Infusion, because we'll be using our last ability, cooldown and critical damage. 2-piece Ascending with HP, MP, recovery out of combat. MP with the MP recovery in combat. Then a 2-piece Hunter with MP defense and double shield. And our arc tuning for this, if you're doing Forbidden, take these off. And you go get like skill power, some cost here, range, and extra skill power. Go all the way up, get all the skill power, MP, critical rate, damage, all the way up here for electric cohesion. And that's pretty much the build. Here's my build for the Supermassive mission dungeon. We use the Blue Beetle for the unique ability, the critical rate. When you use a fusion ability, your first or your last ability, and when you use your second or your third, you can remove any debuffs. We use the sprint speed core, then a defense master for extra defense when we kill an enemy, one of the ads. For our Descendant mods, we use Power Beyond for the trigger, Electric Condense, and that is for the last ability. It makes it to be you kind of do a nuke around you instead of shooting the beam that you normally see. The grapple's up to you. We'll be using mid-air, and this will be a critical build. Emergency measures, front lines, insight, and con. All the critical mods. Cooldown here. Range there. Extra cooldown, focus on singular and electric for our third ability since it's singular, and we'll be using HP here, but this is up to you guys on what you guys would like to use. I have HP just for the build, but I normally use a red mod since they got added in. But it's up to you guys. It's the placeholder for the build. You can swap it to what you feel like you might need. You can use a regular mod, a red mod, or just keep it to the HP. The dog, I recommend NP or HP dog. The ammo dog isn't really needed. Reinforcements, we'll be using focus boost. In recovery, it's the first one for HP or the third one for MP, depending on what you guys feel like you need. And survival, when our life drops below 50, we get max HP, just to be a little bit tickier. Our reactor will be electric infusion, because we're going to be using our last ability to kind of blow everybody up. It'll be cooldown and critical damage, 2-piece ascending, and 2-piece hunter. With the MP HP, the MP MP, defense and MP, and the double shield. For arc tuning, this one's a little bit different than the other builds. We'll go down, all the way down to put on defense neutralization, just to help with the boss at the end. And we'll be using skill cooldown on the top and electric cohesion. For this build in particular, when you fight the boss at the end, you could use your ability. If you get lucky with the critical damage and critical rate, you'll be able to kill him quick. Or you use the melee with melee weapon attack, chill, critical damage, critical damage. You could get another critical damage. I like having an extra critical rate just to be able to hit more critical damage, more possibilities, 5%. And with the substats, critical damage, rate, attack, and chill attack. And these are mods for it. Basically critical rate, critical damage, faster speed. The main one's overpower. When we use our special attack, our critical hit damage is even more with our 2 elemental mods. And that's basically the build. For our 400% and Sigma build, we'll be using our Secret Garden for our weapon of choice. We use it mainly for the cores for the sprint speed and the grappling hook. Here are the substats if you guys would like to make it the same way. The only thing that matters are the cores for the sprint speed. If you want to triple the sprint speed, 2 grappling, 1 sprint speed, however you like it. I do 2 sprint, 1 grappling hook. For the mods, this is just a regular critical build, but the mod that matters the most is Brisk Walk, just for the additional movement speed. For our Descendant mods for Bunny, for the trigger mod we'll be using Power Beyond, our red mod will be Electric Condense, and for our grappling we'll be using Mid-Air, but it's up to you guys on which mod you like for your grappling. This will not be a crit build at all, just damage. So we'll be using Focus on Electric and Singular for the additional damage. Then on top of that, we'll use Singular Amp for more singular skill power. Electric Amp for the electric skill power. We also need some cooldown, so we will be using Nimble Fingers, MP Conversion. And lastly, we'll be using skill expansion for range and amp control. And for some cost, maximize for some skill costs. This last mod here, it's up to you guys. You guys could play around with a red mod. You guys could put increased HP, duration, anything you see fit if you feel like you're lacking something with the build, or if you'd like to play around with the new red mods, the ancestor mods. For the dog, it does not matter out of the 3 which ones you guys use. Out of the 3, they all don't really are needed for this build, besides gathering your loot off the floor. If you want extra HP, MP, or ammo, choose the dog that you prefer. For your reinforcements, I use the cooldown one, or I'll use the cost one. Focus boost or arc. It's really up to you guys. Recovery, I've been playing around with these, and the second one's not that good for rolling. I don't really roll, so I would say the first one or the third one. This one I like the idea of it. It doesn't really play out the way I want it to. Then we'll go to survival and use pain, just for additional HP in case we get low for survivability. For a reactor, we're mainly looking for electric and singular. The substats on the bottom, this is what I have. You could swap it around for cooldown, or keep it how I have mine. It doesn't really matter just because it's 400% in Sigma, and things tend to die pretty quickly. For our components, we'll be using the Slayer set with HP and MP recovery, MP and MP recovery in combat, defense and MP recovery, and shield and shield. And for our arc tuning, for a 400% and Sigma build, we'll go up 1 for MP, go down for additional HP, grab all this skill power into skill cost, and go into the range for additional skill power. Then we'll go all the way up, get the skill power, the MP for the cooldown. Then to the right, the additional skill power, open up our top right, and put on electric cohesion. And this will just allow us to do more damage as a whole. And here is the gameplay for you guys.
HQ. Troops are on the ground. Transport is en route to standby position. Best of luck, Descendants. Receptor, confirming signs of life. Actual to HQ. Mission complete.
Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave down a like. If you guys have any thoughts, ideas, or suggestions for builds, or just want to talk about the builds, comment down below. And if you have any descendants or weapon builds you guys would like to see, comment below. Thank you for watching.